Welcome to ProutNews Weekly. Each week, we examine current events from around the world through the lens of PROUT, the progressive utilization theory, developed by P.R. Sarko. Rather than focusing only on politics or economics, we ask a deeper question. How do these events affect economic democracy, decentralization, social justice, and the welfare of ordinary people? This week, our theme is Stopping Wealth Overaccumulation. Every society must answer a fundamental question. How much wealth should any individual be allowed to accumulate? Most modern economies encourage people to create wealth, innovate, and invest. Yet when wealth becomes concentrated in the hands of a very small minority, economic power follows. Those who control wealth often gain disproportionate influence over investment decisions, media ownership, technology, public policy, and even cultural institutions. As wealth becomes concentrated, purchasing power becomes concentrated as well. While large portions of society struggle with stagnant incomes, rising costs, and declining economic security. From a Prout perspective, the issue is not wealth itself, the issue is overaccumulation. Prout argues that society should encourage enterprise, innovation, and prosperity while preventing excessive concentrations of wealth that undermine economic democracy. This week, we look at three stories from three continents where policymakers, activists, and economists are debating how to limit excessive wealth concentration. United Kingdom, renewed debate over taxing wealth. In Britain, a major political debate has emerged around the taxation of wealth. During the Labour Party leadership contest, Health Secretary Wes Streeting proposed equalising tax rates on capital gains and earned income. Supporters argue that workers who earn income through labour should not pay higher tax rates than individuals whose wealth generates investment income. The proposal could generate billions of pounds in additional government revenue and would reduce some of the tax advantages enjoyed by wealthy investors. At the same time, financial advisors and wealth managers have warned that higher taxes on investment income would encourage healthy individuals to move assets abroad. The debate reflects a larger question facing many developed economies. Should governments tax wealth more aggressively to reduce inequality? Or will such policies discourage investment and economic growth? From a Prout perspective, this debate highlights an important reality. When wealth accumulates without meaningful limits, economic power becomes concentrated. The concern is not whether wealthy people should be successful. The concern is whether wealth concentration allows a small group of people to exert excessive influence over society. Prout would agree that economic inequality should be reduced, but it would also argue that taxation alone cannot solve this problem. The structure of ownership itself must become more decentralized. South Africa. Calls for a wealth tax intensify. South Africa remains one of the most unequal societies in the world. This week, civil society organizations, including Oxfam South Africa, renewed calls for a dedicated wealth tax on the country's richest citizens. Advocates argue that despite decades of economic growth, wealth remains concentrated among a small segment of the population, while millions continue to face poverty, unemployment, and limited economic opportunities. Supporters believe a wealth tax could help fund education, healthcare, housing, and social development programs. Government officials have expressed caution, arguing that implementing such a tax presents administrative challenges and could affect investment. The debate reflects a growing concern across many countries. How can societies address extreme inequality without discouraging productive economic activity? From a Prout perspective, South Africa's situation illustrates why wealth concentration matters. When a small minority controls a disproportionate share of the economic resources, society often experiences social instability, political tension, and limited economic mobility. Prout argues that economic resources should circulate broadly throughout society. The objective is not merely redistribution after wealth accumulates. The objective is to create an economic system that prevents excessive accumulation in the first place, while ensuring that productive wealth remains available for social development. California Billionaire Tax Initiative gains attention. In the United States, a proposal gaining attention in California would impose a one-time 5% tax on billionaire wealth. Economists Gabriel Zucman and Emmanuel Saez have become prominent supporters of the initiative, arguing that extreme concentrations of wealth threaten democratic institutions and economic fairness. Supporters estimate that the measure could raise tens of billions of dollars for public investment while affecting only a small number of ultra wealthy individuals. Opponents argue that such measures may drive wealthy residents and businesses elsewhere, potentially reducing future investment and tax revenue. The proposal has become a part of a broader international conversation about whether billionaires should face special taxation because of the unprecedented scale of modern fortunes. This story raises one of the central questions of economic democracy. How much wealth should any one individual be allowed to control? PROUT argues that beyond a certain point, wealth accumulation ceases to be purely personal and becomes a matter of public concern because it creates concentrated economic power. Economic power influences politics, technology, media, and investment decisions that affect millions of people. PROUT therefore advocates limits on accumulation while encouraging productive enterprise and innovation. Across Britain, South Africa, and North America, we see different approaches to the same challenge. Each society is asking how to reduce excessive concentrations of wealth. Some propose taxing investment income. Some advocate wealth taxes. Others support direct taxation of billionaire fortunes. From a PROUT perspective, these discussions are important because they recognize a fundamental truth. Economic democracy becomes difficult when economic power becomes concentrated. The deeper question is not simply how wealth should be taxed. The deeper question is how society can ensure that wealth, opportunity, and productive resources remain broadly distributed. Economic prosperity should be encouraged. Innovation should be rewarded. But economic power should not become concentrated in the hands of a small minority. That balance between prosperity and economic democracy remains one of the defining challenges of our time. Thank you for joining us for this edition of ProutNews Weekly. We'll see you next week.